Intuition is not a special thing. It's not a gift, and it's not like a gold medal that only certain people get after they've reached a certain level of awareness or consciousness. It's not it's not an achievement. Intuition is something we are. We are naturally intuitive. It is something that we can tap into and learn to develop and to harness and use more frequently. But it's not something that is only particular to some. Everyone is intuitive. It's just a matter of how often, how frequently do you pay attention. Sometimes you can't help but pay attention. Your intuition will knock on the inside of your head or the inside of your awareness, and you won't be able to stop it. It will become overwhelming. Sometimes it might have even saved your life. You may have had an urge, an impulse. You might have felt it throughout your body. You might have heard it. You might have had a vision, a brief flash of knowing. You might have had premonitional dreams. You might have, your intuition is constantly trying to communicate with you. I believe that the intuition is God's way of talking with us, and that the more time we spend alone, sitting in stillness and learning the voice of intuition, the more we're learning the voice of God speaking in, as, and through us, and the more we're having an opportunity to become more whole and unified and aligned with that of which is doing its very best to live through our life and to express through our life. Musicians that sit there and play almost magical music, and they don't have a necessary awareness of where that's coming from, but it arrives. Artists do this, even programmers that sit there and they don't know where the code is coming from, but it's as if it's moving through them. It's as if they're channeling it. This is intuition. This is a natural part of who we are. And when we do what we love or do what we're called to do, it has an opportunity to emerge through us. And the goal is ultimately to create a space in our life where we have time to foster that connection, foster that relationship, that intuitive relationship that we have with Creator, and let it move through us, let it work through us, and let it do its thing. Your life flows as long as you're lining up with what you love and doing what you can to be of the greatest service in the world to others. And also, setting healthy boundaries for yourself, making sure that you're doing what needs to be done to stay healthy and well. As long as you're doing what it takes to stay healthy and well, you're having a place where you spiritually connect with yourself and others. You create a space and time for creativity, and you have a job or a career that allows you to be of great service in the world in your way. No one else's way, but your way, the way that satisfies your heart. Whether that's working for yourself or working for a company that does good things, or if it's just following whatever comes up as a passion at this moment, or doing what you need to do as a way to get by. Sometimes we think that where we're at is the end, and this is how it's got to be. Sometimes we take jobs because we have to, and there's no shame in that. That may be exactly what you're needing at this point in time. It may simply be a rock in the middle of the stream that helps you get to the other side. But ultimately, if you're listening to your intuition, you're knowing exactly right here and right now what's needing to be done so that you can get to where you're trying to go, so you can eventually then be of service in the way that you would like to. So there are sometimes stepping stones along the way, and there's no shame in doing what you need to do to get that, to arrive at that point. However, the goal is ultimately to be as conscious and as intuitively aware as you possibly can, so that you're not falling into the cracks between those stepping stones in the river. You're allowing yourself to, pay attention so that you know where the next one is, where to place your foot next. A person who isn't allowing themselves to listen to their intuition will fall between the cracks, and they will get swept away, and they will, go through what it takes to get to solid ground again, and then from there you have to rebuild. So it's really important that, as each day comes along, you're sitting still and asking the question within, how can I serve the world today? What is it I'm called to do? What is it that I am called to do? What am I called to do? Not what do I want to do? Not what do I want to do today? And I think there's a really, really important and significant difference between what am I called to do and what do I want to do? And that's a whole nother talk. I'm going to talk about that further. But what you want to do is not intuition. What you're called to do is. And that's what we're listening for. We're not listening for what we want. We're listening for what we're called to. And I want to really talk about that further in another video. Thank you for watching. If you have an interest in what I'm sharing tonight, please go ahead and subscribe. I look forward to hearing from you and answering any questions that you might have.